What's going on, Colts Nation? Appreciate you joining me for another video where in this one we're going over the injury report, what we know so far. As a lot of you know that watch these videos, I do have my day job, working a lot of nights through the week right now, so not able to get this video to you on Wednesday, but do want to give you an update of where we stand right now and how we're looking after Wednesday's practice for both of these teams. And so, obviously, as always, we're going to start here with the opposing team, the Chargers. Keenan Allen was a rest day. Joe Alt, very good tackle in the league. Came into the league, just expected him to dominate, and he's done that, but he's been out a few weeks. He did not practice on Wednesday. If he's out, that's going to be huge for us. Really good player, somebody that, when he's not playing the Colts, somebody that I root for. Really just root for the Chargers in general. A lot of players on that team I like, honestly. And, of course, they have Harbaugh. Hard not to root for that guy. And but, of course, can't root for him this week. But Joe Alt is not practicing on Wednesday. We'll see what happens the rest of the week. You have Darius Davis, wide receiver, with a knee. He was a limited participant. Troy Dye, linebacker, with a thumb. He did not practice. Dian Henley, who I believe is a starter for them, if I'm not mistaken. He's a linebacker with a groin injury, limited participant. Derwin James, non-injury related, counts as a rest, but he's also listed with a wrist injury. He's going to be fine. He'll play. He's an absolute dog. He was limited. Now, Quentin Johnston, this is an interesting one. If I'm not mistaken, I have him on a few of my fantasy teams. Really good young player. Has had struggles his first couple years, but is really starting to break out this year. And I believe he's missed a game or two now, or went out 2 games ago, whatever the case may be. He was a limited participant on Wednesday. I think he was limited last week. Not completely sure about that, but pretty sure I saw that he was limited last week. May have just not practiced throughout the week, but with those hamstrings, of course, with corners and wide receivers, the hamstrings, the groins, those can be tricky. So we'll see if he's able to suit up. If he's not, that would surely help the Colts. And for what the Colts corner situation is looking like, because, of course, they have Keenan Allen, Ladd McConkey as well. So Quentin Johnston, if he ends up playing, could be really dangerous with Herbert at quarterback, but we'll see how that goes through the week. Kyle Kennard, linebacker, knee, full participant. Khalil Mack getting back at practice. His elbow injury, nasty elbow injury that I believe happened in week 2, I think, week 2 or week 3. He's been out. But he was a limited participant on Wednesday, so we'll see if he's able to get back on the field. That would be huge for the Chargers and not great for us, to be completely honest with you. Our offensive line's been really good, but he's a powerhouse, veteran in the league, really good player, has been for a really long time. So we'll see what happens with that. Scott Matlock, defensive tackle, ankle injury. He was a full participant. Elijah Molden, cornerback, thumb injury. He did not practice. Denzel Perriman, middle linebacker, ankle, full participant in practice. Trey Pipkins, obviously Rashawn Slater missing the year. Trey Pipkins is a guard tackle, one of those guys that can play both. He's been filling in at that left tackle position, but I believe not playing last week, maybe the week before as well. He did not practice with his knee injury. And then a guard, Jamari Salyer, with a knee injury, limited participant. So this is an offensive line that's beat up. You can tell as we go through this, an offensive line that's really beat up. They're dealing with their own injuries. And obviously the Colts dealing with our own injuries. We have a bunch of guys on IR. So we have guys that aren't even showing up on the injury report, but a lot of guys on IR. They just have a long list of guys here that are either not practicing, 2 of which are rest days for veteran players, but a lot of guys not practicing, limited participant, couple full participants. So definitely something to keep an eye on as we go through the week. Their injury report is going to be very interesting. And then for the Colts, this is something that when it happened in the game, I knew we were going to get here. I was surprised when it didn't get mentioned after the game. I was surprised when it didn't get mentioned Monday. But Josh Downs does pop up with a concussion. My guess is that it happened when we were going into the red zone. I believe it was the last scoring drive we had. We were going into the red zone. He gets his last catch of the day and gets hit by 3 people. and he took a shot to the head. Just kind of, he was able to get up, but you could just tell as he was getting up, he waved himself off right away. That was the moment that I knew he's going to end up in the concussion protocol. Was hoping that wasn't going to be the case, but here we are. Josh Downs on the concussion protocol, and because of that, good chance he ends up missing the game. So, going to be interesting to see what happens. Does AD play? Going back into SoFi, redemption game. We'll talk about it. Ashton Dulin also popping up, chest injury, did not practice, so that'll be interesting. He's an absolute dog. So through the week, like if all of a sudden we're down 2 wide receivers, that would be tough. We have a deep wide receiver room, but it would hurt not to have Downs and Dulin. Dulin does a lot of things on special teams as well. And if Downs is out, you have to assume Dulin's going to get some snaps on offense. So we'll see how that goes through the week. Tyler Goodson, once again, not practicing with his groin injury. And then who else do we have? We have Braden Smith, didn't practice because of rest. Obviously, Charvarius Ward, not practicing in the concussion protocol. Good chance he doesn't play, especially with his second concussion already this year. And then the other guys, we have Alec Pierce showing up, full participant with an ankle injury. So it looks like he'll be okay. Just had to report an ankle injury, I guess. And then Kenny Moore with his calf Achilles. He was a limited participant. Now, I believe what I saw, it's not like he was practicing with the team as a limited participant. I think this is where he's, really getting on the field with the team, but doing more individual drills, right? Last week, they were working him out on the side. So he's kind of ramping up a little bit. Did a little bit of activity last week. Sounds like he's doing more this week, and we'll see how practice goes this week. Obviously, going back into the stadium where he got the injury, right? It really started in training camp when he got the calf injury. And then as we go into SoFi, pops up with the calf Achilles and has been out ever since. So just continue to be careful with Kenny, like as bad as we need him. Just continue to be careful with him. If he were to end up playing, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we played him on the outside, right, and had Mekhi Blackman and Kenny Moore on the outside and then Chris Lamons at slot. That wouldn't surprise me at all. I believe Kenny's played on the outside a little bit throughout his career at different times, so that wouldn't surprise me, but we'll see how that goes. Can Kenny play? Will he continue to ramp up through the week and be okay to go? We'll see how that goes as we go through the week. I'm going to continue to update you guys as soon as I possibly can on what's happening. Again, I work nights at my day job, working a lot of nights. I'll be working tonight, so I won't be able to get you the injury report tonight. It'll have to be something that we do tomorrow, and we'll probably, lump that in with the pregame preview and just do that all at one time. But nonetheless, a lot of things to look at on both sides. Both teams dealing with injuries. This is the NFL. So, there's really no excuse coming into this one, right? On either side, the Chargers dealing with their own injuries, Colts dealing with their own injuries. This is where you come in, next man up. You just got to be able to win this game. And this is going to be a huge game. Ramifications on both sides, big-time ramifications, which we are going to talk about here in just a little while later today. So if you enjoy the content, make sure to hit the like button. Make sure you guys subscribe with notifications on so you continue to get notified anytime we drop any content on this channel. Of course, I appreciate you stopping by for another video. And as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.